Hey, what's up everybody? Rod J back again. Thanks for swinging by to check out another video. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about what has been taking place here this past weekend around 450 North. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, everybody. So if you're not aware of what's taking place here, 450 North out of Columbus, Indiana. First of all, let me just say this is not an attack or anything along those lines against them. I really enjoy their beers. I like what they're doing there. This is more just an awareness of something that has come out, and we'll get into some of the comments here in a second. But just recently, there was a report allegedly done where they actually were checking the ABV on the beers from 450 North. Now, this was done by an individual that has posted some things online that actually 450 North is responding to. But on the situation taking place, the person has actually posted a comment where they've actually tested the beers coming out of 450 North, mainly the slushies. And one of the slushies they actually tested where it actually came up lower on the ABV. So here you can see kind of the comment that was made, and this is the thing that's been blowing up around Facebook. It's also been blowing up around Twitter. So they finally tested a Slushy XL in their lab, and the results were shocking. They showed the results after decarbon, running it through a centrifuge and filtering through a coffee filter. It came out to only be 2.6% ABV. They also show results after watering down the sample by 50% to make sure it wasn't the viscosity throwing it off, and the results were exactly half of the non-watered down. Again, pointing to the fact that the ABV was actually 2.6. So with these beers, they are usually larger as far as the ABV. The XL, a little bit bigger of the version. A lot of times you're between maybe 8 to 10% on these beers. And so what this kind of situation arises is, do you have a situation where maybe some of these beers are coming out lower because something's happening in that process? Obviously, when you're brewing a beer, you start off with your original gravity when you are putting everything into it, and then at the end of the fermented process, you have a final gravity, and in between those 2 points, it's going to allow you to know what the ABV is. To have it kind of shift that much, and what's kind of being alleged out there is maybe that the fruit is being put into it after that final gravity point, and that's diluting it down more into the beer. I would think, for me, that might be the situation that might be taking place, but you really wouldn't want to have a final gravity reading until after the beer has been fermented, going to bottle, or in this case, going to can, right? You would want to do that after it, so you would have a more accurate measure. Now, I've had a few slushies over time, and I will say I don't feel the effects of a beer usually at the ABV that's pronounced on the can, so maybe there is something with that, but I'm not going to point any fingers or anything along those lines. It does bring up a good question. Since that time, there has been a response that you can see here from 450 North, saying they're being made aware of everything. They're actually going to run some independent studies on the results as well. From everything they thought and everything they knew, or kind of thought they knew, they didn't see where that might have been happening. They're going to have to explain all that on their end once the stuff happens, and I'm glad they're actually taking a step to have it actually tested, and hopefully when they kind of do that, it'll be pretty transparent that people can see it was actually tested, the results are actually there, and they can find out what may be going on with this process. It'll be a curious thing to keep an eye on. So for all you that are 450 North fans, just something to share here with some of the news out there about this beer. The other thing is, if you look at it from a federal perspective, something that was brought to my attention, I went online and kind of checked some things as well. You're only allowed to really be within 0.5% of the difference on what you advertise as your ABV and what the actual product is. You can be 0.5 higher, you can be 0.5 lower. So if you're that far outside the bounds, there could be some legal type repercussions in there as well. So all of that raises some concern. Keep an eye on what's happening. Just dropping off a little bit of the current beer news for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If so, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I will look forward to catching you guys soon. Keep drinking those good craft beers. Remember, there's always time. Get your beer on. Cheers, everybody.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better come